Welcome to Haunt Weekly. Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly episode 4. I don't know any other languages.
1 month down.
1 month down. And this is kind of a special episode.
Yes.
Sort of to recap something we covered in episode 1 ever so briefly when we were describing what the hell this is.
Right.
We had said our original visage of this podcast was that we would cover news before the bigger topic every episode.
Right.
And then we woke up from the drunken stupor we were obviously in when we came up with that terrible idea and realized it was not practical.
Yeah, just because there's not a whole lot of news except in September, August, September, or October.
Yeah. Well, and there is year-round news, to be clear.
Right.
Because this is a 12-month-a-year industry, despite what everyone else thinks. That's one of the things we're here to dispel. But, that being said, it's not a lot of news that gets covered.
Right. It's not going to be on your major networks.
Or, your
unless something really bad happens.
Your Google alerts are a little bit quiet, etc., etc., etc. But that being said, and the other problem we had was since we want to do this as a weekly podcast, we sometimes have to record these in batches.
Yes.
And the batching makes that impossible to cover news because anything we cover. So we decided once out of every 4 episodes or so, we would take a break from the usual topic of the week and do some news. And if we have any time at the end of this, we will do news, etc., etc., but I don't think we're going to. We have a pretty full show this week, don't you agree?
Yes.
So yes, we are going to be covering news. Now, the news we'll be covering this go-around pretty much spans November 1st through mid-December.
Correct.
Which is about the time we're recording this later in December. But, so that's the 6 weeks we're covering. And from here on out, we'll try to do this every 4 to 6 weeks or so. Can't promise a completely every 4-week cycle here.
Yeah.
It'll depend upon the volume of news and whether we can fill an hour chatting about it.
And just a quick note, since it is the end of December, and I happen to be allergic to most of the Christmas decorations out, you might hear me coughing and stuff, or I might sound a little funny.
Yeah, Christmas. One of the reasons we celebrate Halloween so much is because Christmas literally tries to kill Crystal.
Yes.
Every year.
Yeah.
It's quite atrocious. It's gotta really suck being allergic to all of the natural Christmas stuff.
Yeah, it is.
The fir trees, the cedar, all that jazz.
Yeah.
It's ruthless. So.
Yeah, it was worse when I was younger and they didn't know.
Well, yeah, that would really suck.
Yeah. But it's gotten better.
It's gotten a little better, I hope.
Yeah.
And you're aware and you're able to take steps to avoid it, but still not perfect, especially when you're doing work in floral arrangements.
Yes, I know.
Some dick decides you're going to be working with.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I asked about Christmas trees, but I completely forgot about the bouquets and stuff.
Bouquets, yeah. So, lesson learned.
Yes.
Well, you want to talk about some news?
Let's get rolling.
Well, this first story, the major story this week, and the one I think we're going to spend the lion's share of the time on, actually comes to us from San Diego, California, and it's from a haunted attraction called Balboa Park Haunted Trail.
Sounds fun.
It does sound fun.
Because I went to another haunted trail.
Yeah, we're kind of on a haunted trail kick lately.
Yeah.
Really itching for another one. So yeah, it does sound flipping awesome. But that and Balboa Trail, I'm wondering if it had anything like Rocky
Probably
not. That was Philadelphia anyway.
If you guys are listening though, if you have a rock, can you put Balboa on it?
Just please, yeah. That would be an awesome pun to work into it. If it's not already there, please make this happen. I beseech you. But anyways, the story actually starts out a little bit sad. They were sued some time ago. A patron of this haunted trail was apparently leaving and exiting the trail. And a gentleman, actor of the haunt, pursued with a chainsaw without the chain, as is customary in our industry.
Right.
And this individual tripped and sustained some degree of injury. I have not seen the extent of the injury, but he apparently survived well enough to file a lawsuit.
Yes.
And the good news is the lawsuit was dismissed both at the district court level and again at the appellate court level. And that's the news, is that the 4th Appellate District upheld the decision.
Right. And basically they said that this is the essence of going to a haunted attraction.
Yeah.
You are paying to be scared. If you run because you are scared, then the haunted attraction is doing its job.
Yeah. And the patron in question admitted repeatedly that he enjoyed most of the haunt, had a great time. Most of it. It was just that last little bit he had a minor issue with. I would love to read his Yelp review, by the way.
It was really, really great. Until I relaxed because I thought I was out, and then I wasn't.
Yeah. 1 star.
Yes.
You know how that one went.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, that's one of the other things that's kind of interesting about this ruling, is that this incident apparently happened somewhat out of bounds, and I'm putting air quotes here.
Yeah.
You can't see my air quotes, but they're
he
there.
does a lot of things that you can't see. It's kind of funny.
Whee! But yeah, basically it was out of bounds of the attraction, and I love the appellate court ruling here, which basically says the haunt gets to decide what the boundaries of the haunted attraction are.
Right.
To which I say, challenge accepted, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Probably should not have told me that.
Probably not.
But yeah, but basically they did what's often referred to as a carry ending, in which you have what seems like everything's normal, everything's chill,
Right.
everything's relaxed, and then boom, one more gotcha.
Yeah, well, going back to our first haunting experience together at the little haunted house.
The Boy Scout haunt, yeah.
Yeah, at the Boy Scout haunt, they actually had an actor hide out by the cars.
By, under, anywhere.
Yeah, so after you had left the enclosure...
That bitch is lucky he didn't get run over, let's be honest.
Yeah, so basically they would pick people and they would watch which cars they were going to, and they would hide out between the cars, and whenever they got ready to get into them, they would scare them.
Yeah, it was really funny in that haunt because there was a chainsaw inside the haunt.
Yes.
And since they couldn't get fire marshal or like sanity check to use a gas chainsaw, they used an electric one. Which, if you've never heard an electric chainsaw, it sounds...
It sounds a little puny.
Come busting through, and everyone's like, oh yeah, whatevs.
Yeah.
But the one that they had out there, I swear, had to be like a lumberjack chainsaw. It was the biggest. I've been in haunt for a while. That's still the biggest, baddest chainsaw I've heard.
Yeah.
And it comes in,
yeah.
That caused some poop to come out of pants, I'm pretty sure, at regular intervals.
Yeah.
And yeah, but yeah, he chased people, they ran, and I'm sure more than a few tripped.
Right.
And basically, other elements of the lawsuit that haunts need to be aware of, though, is they did conclude that the park had did a reasonably good job warning patrons.
Right.
Because they had
the standard warning.
No pregnant peoples, no
right, heart conditions.
Yeah, we do hard scares here. We're not just going to boo gotcha.
Right.
You know, all that stuff. They did a good job of the precautions. They also ruled that by him buying the ticket, he had agreed to this behavior.
Yes, he had given his consent to be scared.
And once again, he also didn't help his own case there by admitting to having enjoyed most of the haunt.
Right.
And the court also ruled that the park did a reasonably good job mitigating the risk to the patron. They didn't do anything outrageous or outlandish to put them in danger. There was no, like, tiger pit with spikes in the parking lot.
No.
Like from Rare X Sports, the wolf pit that Santa falls into.
Yeah.
There was nothing like that. And so basically, tough. This stuff happens. You assumed the risk. You tripped. You fell. You got hurt a little bit. Sorry. That's all it is. And what was interesting is, he actually, and this was what kind of fascinated me, he didn't just sue for the injuries or recklessness or anything like that. He sued for assault.
Yeah. There's only, that's completely,
Now this is
over the top.
Yeah, this is an issue we're going to come to in later. He sued alleging negligence and assault. I had to pull up the other article. We are going to cover this one, especially when we get into like the touch versus no touch haunts and the extreme haunts and those conversations we're doing.
Right.
about that you cannot waive your right to not be assaulted.
Correct.
That is important. But that being said, this is not assault.
No.
At the same token.
This is being startled and reacting in a fight
or flight moment. And
yeah, you chose flight and didn't do it very well.
And for the record, the earlier decision said the case was thrown out, and I'll read the quote from the original ruling. Under the primary assumption of risk doctrine, there is no duty to eliminate or protect the plaintiff against the risks that are inherent in a sport or recreational activity.
Right.
Seems fairly obvious. And a risk inherent to a recreational activity is that you might, like a haunt, is that you might run into a wall, you might trip and fall, as long as you don't do anything to exasperate said risk.
Right.
You're probably A-okay. So all in all, I think this is a really great ruling for haunts. I, as a haunter, take a lot of comfort in this.
Yes, me too. So, quick question.
All right.
What's your thoughts on chainsaws?
I am not a fan.
Yeah.
I think they have... I've come after years of working in haunts to realize they do have a place.
Right.
And that place is flushing out people at the end sometimes.
Yeah, which it sounds like this is...
Exactly what they were doing. So it was probably a pretty good use. But yeah, I'm not a fan because a lot of... I think chainsaws are overused in general.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling. I've only seen it done really well twice.
Once was at Waterloo. When was the other one?
Yeah. It was...
If you say the Boy Scout haunt, I would totally accept that and walk. Because the use in the parking lot was pretty flipping good.
That was very good, yeah. That actually was.
No, so maybe 3 times.
Yeah, maybe. I can't remember the other time right now.
Yeah, it's yeah. I'm sorry to put you on the spot like that.
That's okay.
But it is.
I put you on the spot.
Yeah, okay.
That's what we do.
Fair enough. But yeah, it is tough to use them well, especially considering how overused they are. Like I remember a few years ago, the House of Shock had the chainsaw maze.
Yeah.
Then
which a lot of people did love.
A lot of people did love. I mean, and this is my personal opinion, your personal opinion too.
Yeah. Obviously.
I just was not impressed by it. And like I said, I guess it's different.
Yeah.
Having held the chainsaw, having been with the people who are the chainsaw people.
Right.
I know there's no chain on it.
I think that it's also, people who were exposed to things like Texas Chainsaw Massacre when it first came out. I think that they're going to react more strongly to it than people who might have been exposed later in life.
And the other time you were thinking of that was good, I remember it, the chainsaw chopping off the fake leg.
Yes.
That was it. That was at Psychopath in Mississippi.
Yeah.
We saw that. Okay, so yeah, I remembered for you. You see what I did?
I do.
Okay, well, you want to move on to our next story since
sure.
We're already 11 minutes in. This really fascinated me. Ocean City, Maryland, actually wants a haunted attraction in an upscale part of town.
Yes, which was surprising to some of the residents.
Yeah, and me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really blew my mind because any haunter knows the challenge of trying to find a location for a haunt. Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of issues that come up when you try to put in a haunted attraction.
Right.
Because you have to get obviously you have all the permits, you have issues with the neighbors, you have fire suppression issues. Mm-hmm. Finding a location that is, affordable, large enough, has the right fire suppression stuff, and in an area that, the neighbors will not completely riot against you.
Right. And the thing about this one is that they actually had to file for an extension of the town's amusement district with the city and get the neighbors' approval before it would even be considered.
Yeah. And here we are. They're actually wanting... Now, I'm looking up the stats on Ocean City, Maryland, for anyone who's curious. Mm-hmm. This would be a very unusual haunted opportunity for anyone who's curious to pursue it. Because the population in the town is only 7,000 people.
That is interesting.
7,102 according to 2010 census. I'm on Wikipedia, which we know Wikipedia is the ultimate bastion of truth and honesty. But what's interesting is they are a summer vacation destination and they host approximately 325,000 vacationers every year.
Right. So is this going to be like a
summer
year-round
Or
haunt?
you would just have the season be summer, I guess.
Maybe.
I
don't know. It doesn't go into that. It does talk about how this will be the people who are doing it have 2 other haunted attractions. DC Scream and Field of Screams. Both of which we've heard of.
Yes.
So this would be their 3rd attraction. At their other haunts, they say they put through 500 to 7 people through the haunt per hour. But then later on it says that they put in groups of 4 to 6 every 15 minutes.
Which is...
Or 15 minutes to go through. They might start it before the 15
I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm saying it's hella amazing throughput, though.
Yeah. Math's not my strongest suit.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah.
It seems a little bit...
You'd have to space your separation very carefully on that. You could do it. But the problem with it is you risk... and this is just... Throughput is going to be a whole topic. We probably should save some of this conversation.
Yeah, and it may be, that they're talking about the new haunt versus the ones that are existing, too.
True, too.
So.
But it is interesting that Ocean City is actually approaching and wanting to do this.
Oh, yeah.
They are super eager about it. And because, here in New Orleans, we have seen every major haunted attraction that's open, whether it's House of Shock, whether it's the Mortuary.
Right.
They've been fought by their cities.
Yeah. Yeah, Mortuary had a huge problem because they actually bought a historic
Jewish
mortuary to build in. And there was a big outcry.
Yeah, well, they kind of set some of it up for themselves by historic building and all the hoopla that comes with that.
Yeah.
They kind of did some of it to themselves. But the point remains, they've really struggled. And House of Shock, of course, has a legendary history over its 25 years of battling its locales. It's currently an unincorporated Jefferson Parish, I believe.
Yes.
They've battled too. So but here to have a city actively inviting a haunt and encouraging and doing what it can. And by the way, it'll be taking over what was formerly an all-ages nightclub.
Correct.
Which, I'm from New Orleans. All-ages nightclubs are a thing.
Well, yeah. And
I know they are, and they're very common in these like Myrtle Beach, South Carolina has them too.
Yeah, not all towns have Bourbon Street.
Oh, come on. They all have Bourbon Street, they do. Key West sure as hell tries to.
Yeah.
Oh, God. But yes, the point remains that it will be taking over that. So I really thought the idea of the town actively seeking an upscale haunted attraction and going out of its way to have one come in was really cool.
Yeah.
Bending over to make it happen. I thought that was really, really cool. Something I hope we see more of, but do not see a lot of it right now. Okay, so we shift our focus now to abandoned haunted house in Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin.
Yes.
Who will be adding a stalker cornfield to their attraction, apparently.
Yeah, apparently this was a request from some of their visitors.
Yeah.
To add it.
It'll be the 4th attraction at the park. Mm-hmm. And...
it'll take 20 and 25 minutes to go through.
Mm-hmm.
And they acquired an 8-acre field behind their main haunted house. 4.5 acres will be used for parking, and the other will be used for the haunted corn maze. Oh, sorry, it's not a maze.
Yeah, it's just a field.
They're very clear that it is not a maze.
Yeah.
It is going to be interactive like the haunted house, and I'm paraphrasing there from their quote.
Yeah, it's apparently going to have a layout similar to a traditional haunted attraction. That's one of the interesting things about this one to me, is like when you go to like Eckert's Farm in Illinois, for example, they have the corn maze, which is a bona fide maze, as in you can get lost, you can make wrong turns, you can hit dead ends, etc. This is more of a linear path that just is very winding.
Right. What I was thinking of was it's probably more like the hayride trail.
Yeah, exactly.
Only you walk it instead of being on the tractor.
I would agree with that. That seems reasonable.
So you're walking through the corn, and then they've got, basically rooms with corn walls cut out to do their displays in.
Yeah, that seems to be roughly what they're hitting at.
Yeah. Obviously, we don't know for sure. It's not built yet.
Yeah.
But that's what it sounds like it's going to be.
It sounds like it, and it seems like the most likely result of it. So, very cool idea, and like I said, not a small addition to the park.
Correct.
Okay, one thing I noticed a lot of as I was going through and compiling news was, and obviously we're recording this after these have closed, so
sorry.
Sorry about that. We're not doing any good for this here. But we do have a lot of Christmas haunted attractions this year.
Right, and some of them seem to be the regular haunted house, but dressed up with Christmas outfits.
Yes.
You know, that they're not changing a whole lot to make it more Christmassy. But, yeah, we have been seeing more and more of these, and I think it's part of the problem of how do you take something that is traditionally just September, October.
The last half of September, usually.
Yeah, and make money off of it more of the year.
Yeah. And like I said, this is also lined up for another whole episode. But we've been seeing haunts that do escape rooms.
Yes, that's been very big this year. That's really coming into its own.
And we're seeing more and more of haunts doing things other seasons. Christmas haunts like the ones we're going to be talking about here are popular. We're also seeing ones that do Friday the 13th haunts throughout the year.
Yeah.
We're seeing My Bloody Valentine. Every one of them is themed My Bloody Valentine. Please come up with a different Valentine's Day